These leather crafts showcase exquisite detail. The speckled pores, the lengthy wrinkles, and the taut sinews and muscles are all authentically replicated. These works are cleverly crafted with the deft hands of the Taiwanese artisan Dwan An-guo. Originally a meat vendor and butcher by trade, Mr. Dwan started this craft with a blank slate, just as a hobby, just to sate his curiosity.
我不管怎样，我要先有研究出来，因为我很喜欢这个东西。
Now he has been widely recognized and celebrated in the art community. Through a long process of experimentation over 3 decades, he can confidently claim that he has captured the true spirit of an artisan. Without any formal art instruction, how did Dwan An-guo reach this level of master craftsmanship? Spraying the leather with water, he rubs it with great vigor. Then the leather is affixed onto the wooden mold. Using his nimble fingers, he forms the fundamental shape. Carefully engraving with a pressing tool, the facial expressions become more lifelike. All he uses are simple tools, scissors, tweezers, and awls. The key lies in his dexterous hands and his keen eyes. Mr. Dwan focuses primarily on human figures. He draws his inspiration from a variety of professions. Also, he exquisitely depicts characters from Chinese myths. This is the unruly and rebellious Monkey King with his bristling hair and fiery red cloak dancing in the raging wind. The Taiwanese Aboriginal tightly grasps his prey with long and sturdy limbs. This artwork highlights the beauty of the human body's musculature. Truly, Dwan An-guo's talent is his eye for detail and subtlety. He has enjoyed observing his surroundings since childhood, from flowers, insects, and animals to people around him. Every little thing seemed fascinating to him, often leaving him utterly captivated.
其实我小时候就是很喜欢观察这些细节，我可以看那个蚂蚁在那边爬，怎么样去觅食，甚至于我想要把我爸妈的手表拆开来看看它为什么会走。
As a child, he understood the world around him through tactile experience. Not only did he want to learn how to repair watches, but he also loved observing how bicycles and umbrellas were fixed. When Mr. Dwan evokes images from his childhood, he remembers these tiny tools he was once fascinated by. And with the tranquil demeanor on the faces of these professionals, we are struck with the same sense of nostalgia as he does, wistfully being transported back to a bygone era of Taiwan's past.
这些东西虽然说也许是我的一个记忆，或者是我的日记，或者我的一个想法、一个看法，可是我觉得这些东西也应该是很多人的回忆，或是一些人的感情吧。
Young Dwan An-guo, lacking direction and strapped for cash, reluctantly took over the family business as a market butcher. But every day seemed like a drudgery for him. One day, while going for a stroll with his wife, they passed by a leather carving exhibition. Seeing a leather carved figure, he was moved by the artworks.
就看它竟然是有毛细孔。看着看着，我就鸡皮疙瘩我都起来了，就是说那个震撼，就是说，哇，这真的是牛皮，然后做的那么样的惟妙惟肖。
This was a pivotal moment for him. Inspired by the exhibition, he bought a piece of cowhide, but he didn't know how to start the craft. He thought to himself that if cobblers use wood for shoe molds, he could also use wood to carve molds for figures. In order to find a mold to shape the figure itself, he tried different materials. Finally, he settled on oil clay because it resisted heat and was malleable. Since he didn't have any formal art training or apprenticeship background, he relied only on the brute force of his enthusiasm to overcome the repeated failures.
那个时候已经20几岁了，我不管怎样，我要先有研究出来，因为我很喜欢这个东西，我就一定要把它弄出来才甘心这样的。
However, with a mold, he could only get a fundamental shape. With cowhide, it was too stiff to inlay details. What could he do to make it supple enough to mold and allow surface carving? What was the missing step that he hadn't thought of?
那时候夏天在菜市场里面很热，很流汗。那个下班的时候没事干的时候，在那边研究的时候，那个汗滴下去。滴了之后，它那个皮就那个地方就产生变化，就软化了。那我就觉得说，这个是可能是一个方法哦。
Indeed, leather softens when it is in contact with water. After being massaged, it becomes more pliable. He wrapped the leather around the mold, stretching and pressing it to form contours. Then, by using a pressing tool, he gradually drew lines of different depths. Adding moisture provided varying levels of firmness in the leather. By doing this, it gave him a chance for more intricate carving. In 1994, when Dwan An-guo made his debut, in an art exhibition, he won a prestigious award. Since then, he's been winning top prizes both domestically and internationally. He's been recognized as an artist who fully comprehends how to manipulate the properties of leather and transform it into a refined art form. He's also a noted artist with a keen eye for observation and has the ability to convey subtle emotion into his subject matter.
以前不知道要做什么，所以说就是浑浑噩噩的，整天有时候喝酒啦，有时候什么。但是当有工作这个表现了之后，就有一个人生的目标了。
To mimic materials in clothing, accessories, and props, he's also had to learn sewing to make shoes properly. And even train himself in tinting and coloring. He has always believed that his skills are not limited to just leather. At first glance, his work seemed like scenes from a movie. This is because he visualizes the context while creating. He imagines what the characters might be thinking about, or what is happening around them at that particular moment. In essence, what he creates is a freeze-frame image of an ongoing story. Upon closer observation, one can see his figures have similar faces, but they emote different expressions. The key lies in the details of the emotion that he's trying to conjure up. The most intuitive way to capture an expression is to look at himself in the mirror. Observing the stretched muscles and the crease wrinkles on his own face, he tries to replicate these subtle changes in the figure before him. Indeed, in this production, he's both his own director and actor. To set higher goals, Mr. Dwan has recently been studying anatomy. From textbooks, he explores the intricacies of the human skeletal and muscular system. With a full-length mirror, he scrutinizes how different postures impact the way muscles look. This is an ongoing challenge that he set for himself. How can he expose the figure's body with musculature and still make the human form look convincingly realistic?
以前的话，就是说只有做到脸部的表情，没有办法做到全身的肌理，所以我想要用皮革做出全身，等于说脱光光给你看。
This work featuring a Taiwanese Aboriginal hunter marks a momentous milestone in his career. He's faithfully captured the exquisite detail of the human form. The veins pulsate, the taut tendons and bulging muscles brim with brute strength. Dwan An-guo has walked a long, hard journey. He started out as an untamed youth, lacking direction in his life. Through trials and tribulations, he has doggedly paved his own path. Self-teaching himself, he faced his own challenges and learned from them. Like the Monkey King, he lives life on his own terms, headstrong and unrestrained. And like this mythical hero, with his cape fluttering in the wind, he'll move on to the next goal that he set for himself.